Hey y'all, it's Riot. Welcome back to Weekly Hyperfixations. We're on week 27. This week is a bit wonk because it's tech week for the production I'm working on. The video will still be on time though, which is nice. I'm just really busy to the point in which usually I record this around 6 p.m. It's midnight. So tells you how much of my time theater takes. Granted, I've been home for a couple hours, but still. All right. We've got kind of all over the place with topics. At least that's how it feels to me, but it's mostly because most of my week has been specifically about theater. Not much else on the brain. So, oh my gosh, sorry. I'm also a little more disheveled than usual in terms of my appearance. That's also because, you know, I theater all week. I need to take a shower. I haven't done that yet. Whatever. Bear with me, y'all. Okay. I mean, yeah, okay. There's been a lot of press tour for Superman because it's had premiere night. So it's had its big premiere. Which is really exciting. I'm also really loving all the little things that they've been doing. You know, I watched some of the carpet for the world premiere because that was live streamed, which was really good. There was also a coffin interview with David Dalmatian. I think I'm saying that right. I never know if I'm saying that right. I'll be so real. But he did one of the coffin interviews with James Gunn, and that was really entertaining. I've seen some clips from that. Also, James Gunn made character playlists on Spotify for some of the characters, and it's really funny because I don't understand the Clark Kent one like at all. It's also unclear to me whether or not these playlists are supposed to be songs that are reminiscent of the character or songs the character would listen to. Either way, very funny either way, because on the Clark Kent playlist, not Superman, specifically Clark Kent, why is Dear Maria Count Me In on that one? Why is Mr. Brightside on that one? A lot of... I have more questions than answers on that one. And no Starman by David Bowie. Thank the Lord. Because Starman by David Bowie is a really common song for people to make Superman edits to. So he did not put that on Clark's playlist. Thank God. However, there are 4 David Bowie songs on Lex Luthor's playlist. Yo, what's going on, bud? I really like what I didn't listen to it because I'm not big on Taylor Swift specifically. Just an oversaturation of her music over time because her music market is like teenage through to like mid-30s is like the technical demographic. Obviously, her demographic is anyone, but that's what like labels and stuff really market her music to. So I've just experienced an oversaturation of her stuff. So I'm not really into it anymore. But on the Eve Telmacher playlist, it has a bunch of Taylor Swift, but it also has Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter. And I laughed really hard at that because her man is Lex Luthor. is Lex Luthor. And I love that. I'm always on the fence about Superman characters, and I was on the fence about her just because, like, you know, I'm one for the girlies, but like, you know, the girlies know that sometimes you see a girly and you're like, not that one. But I'm like, okay, I dislike her a little less now because that's funny. And also just looking at what's on all of these playlists, I'm like, am I missing something? Like, is there something in like the story of the new Superman movie that I'm just like, I somehow completely missed that was going to be a thing? Like, it feels like I'm missing something, you know what I mean? It's really funny. Like the Clark Kent playlist to me honestly feels like it could equate to a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man one, so I'm a little confused. I'm like, am I missing some sort of conflict plot that like I don't know. Regardless, very fun to look at. Okay. Not a lot of info on it, but Chappell Roan's been spotted in New York, I think it was New York. It was either New York or LA, filming a new music video. The few shots I've seen does look like a banger. Even if I don't like the song, it'll definitely be a banger in terms of the music video. Because there's a shot of her where like the wig is so long that it attaches to like a taxi door. Girl, you're cooking. I don't know what it is, but you're cooking. Oh man. Y'all. I'ma impart to y'all, I've acquired a new fixation, which is really funny because this does not line up with anything really. I play Final Fantasy 14, right? I talk about that sometimes. Really love Final Fantasy 14, critically acclaimed MMORPG. But I developed a hyperfixation on Final Fantasy 15, which is the one with the four boys, Noctis, Gladio, Ignis, and Prompto. And I don't know where it just like hit me like a truck. Here's the thing. I've seen my partner play all of Final Fantasy 15. That was a while ago. That was quite a while ago. Like, that ship has fully sailed. Beat the game and everything. Like, that ship is done. But my brain was like, hey, what if we go back to that, actually? And then also the other day, I was looking through my camera roll trying to find, I think, a picture of my old room in Georgia. And I was trying to find a good picture of it to show my household. And I came across in like, okay, my apologies. The camera started glitching out. I'm not sure where I've cut it, but I was looking through, I was looking through my camera roll for a picture of my old room in Georgia, and in 2021 or 2022, I think 2021, there was a picture of Prompto, and I was like, whoa, why are you in here? It's only that picture. It's one picture. The whole rest of the month, going backwards, going forwards, no other pictures from Final Fantasy 15. Just that one image of Prompto. I don't remember hearing anything about this game at all. Literally until like this, like the beginning of 2024 is when I like really was hearing about it. Even though this game is quite old at this point, in terms of games. But I was like, oh, weird. Maybe someone in my old friend group was playing it or something. I have no context. It says it was saved from Discord, so it was probably from that, but I have zero context as to like who was playing that game. Why did I save this picture? Usually anyone in that group, when talking about a new piece of media, they like, usually there's a lot of photos. So why did I only save this one? I think it's because there's a whole joke in the game as well about how the front of his hair looks like the tail of a chocobo. So I was like, maybe I thought that was funny, or maybe I just liked the fact that there were baby chocobos in that art. But it's really weird to me because I don't remember knowing this character existed at all. Literally at all. So I don't know where that came from. And it's really funny because he's not even my favorite of the 4. He's my second favorite. He and my actual favorite are constantly fighting for first place in my head. But yeah, I need you guys to know that the note that says that's about the Final Fantasy 15 hyperfixation just says POV. Final Fantasy 15 hyperfixation. The boys. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I do remember hearing about Cindy, who's the girl who is a car mechanic in that game. I do remember hearing a lot about her because they put her in a crop top and booty shorts, and she works on cars, and she talks like this. She's got a very strong southern accent, and I'm like, okay, I get why I remember her being talked about. How do I not remember any other character being talked about in this game? And also, I somehow still have one of them saved on my phone from Discord. What? Anyway, that was silly goofy. What else do we got? I'm gonna save that for in between the pyramid and the notes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've talked a couple times about JoJo Siwa sort of recently. The first day of Pride Month, she hard launched a relationship with that guy that's way older than her. Not way older than her, but definitely older than her. With that picture of them naked in bed, which was gross, and everyone was like, oh, come on the first day of Pride Month, really? And it was after, you know, her ex-girlfriend, her now ex-girlfriend, you know, had flown all the way to the UK because she was on that show, and she was actively cheating on that girlfriend on the show and all that jazz. She put out a cover of some song that I'm not familiar with. At least I didn't recognize the name of the woman who originally sang that song, but she like went from trying really hard to appeal to queer people and the left in America. And she was so talentless and tactless about it that obviously it did not work. But lo and behold, if you change yourself into the most mid-level looking American female AFAB, I get AFAB is way better than female. I don't know why I said female. That was gross. But literally she just like, it really feels like she just got a lot of flack about coming out and about being queer, and her whole gay pop thing didn't pan out the way she wanted, so she just like hard pivoted towards like Christian conservatism, and not even openly, but like there's a big difference between appealing to queer people and whatever the fuck that cover was, because that it's way too like old Hollywood vibe, and like way too, it's just the kind of, it went from her trying to have the vibe of like a young hip queer person to your grandmother would like this. You know what I mean? It's to the point in which like I was not even with all of the stuff about her her relationships, I was not like, you can be an AFAB person who is queer and date a man, literally me, but that's not so I wasn't questioning her identity, I guess, before. But it really, with this additive thing that she's done with this cover and how she's presenting herself now, it really just feels like she was doing that to get brownie points now because it didn't work, and she's therefore doing a 180 and pivoting away from it. It really just, regardless of how she identifies literally in any way, shape, or form, it really just feels like she doesn't have any sense of self, and she's literally just changing herself to match the whim of what will get her the most attention. Not a good move at all. It also just makes you look disingenuous to literally everyone because, you know, how can you be both of those things at the same time? You can't. That kind of situation. So it's just like blatantly trying to appeal to one side and then, oh, that didn't work. Now try to blatantly appeal to the other side that is working. You may see what I mean at that point. It's just like so grossly obvious that she's just doing whatever will work, you know? Whatever garners attention. It doesn't even have to be good attention, as we all have seen. Yeah. Okay. We've got two more things on the list. One of them's silly, so I'm gonna save that one for last. The head of America, because I'm not using the official title for that man, he decided that the new interim administrator of NASA was going to be the transportation secretary. What is his name? Sean Duffy who is the transportation secretary, was then appointed by the head of America as the interim administrator of NASA. And this was announced. And now 2,000 senior staff members are resigning because they don't want anything to do with that guy. It's not going to go well. So their 2,000 senior staff are quitting. Like, these are people who have worked in NASA for decades. This is their final straw. So we're functionally, even though we were already starting to lose a bunch of our space program anything because of the head of America and Elon's little breakup thing, we're actually going to be losing more of it because, he forced NASA to get rid of some of their people. That means you have to replace the administrator. You replace the administrator with someone that no one in NASA likes. Now 2,000 senior employees are going to quit. You're not winning. There's no way you're winning in this situation. It's not going to happen. So I just thought that was very, that gave me quite a bit of hope, honestly, because literally some of the smartest people in our country are like, hey, you literally can't do that. I'll leave. I know you need me. I'll leave. And it's not just one person doing it. It's not just a handful of people doing it. 2,000 people who are essential to NASA are going to quit because of this decision. That's how bad it is for NASA. They literally could function better on their own without an interim head. They could literally function better like that. Genuinely. So, I missed one. There's two things. Anime Expo happened in LA. It was towards the end of last week. I don't know if I mentioned it much. Did I? Yeah, I don't think I did. Anime Expo happened last weekend, and the only thing I really paid attention to is, you guessed it, Baby No Money. He, out of nowhere, literally, he was talking about cosplaying, you know, K-pop demon hunters. The next day, he was like, I saw a tweet and it said, I've got a great cosplay for you guys tomorrow at Anime Expo. And I was like, oh, it's probably the K-pop demon hunters. No, it's actually my favorite character of all time. It's actually Dr. Octopus. Jump scare. Apparently, the joke was that he was going into his quote-unquote villain arc because Markiplier hadn't noticed him, even though he's only been trying to reach Markiplier via social media, and Markiplier's famous for being chronically offline. Literally outside of recording for YouTube, he's barely on his phone or any social media. I don't even know if he has social media, actually. I'm sure he did at one point, but so that's really entertaining, actually. But he did randomly whip out a cosplay of my favorite character, and I was like, yo, why'd you twinkify my favorite guy? I say as if I don't own one of the original versions of the Spider-Man 2 2004 script, in which Dr. Octopus was supposed to be closer to Peter's age, and he goes on a date with MJ. Yes, that's a real thing. I have a physical copy of it. I got it for my birthday from my brother. But like, I was like, yo, you twinkified Dr. Octopus. What are you doing, bud? Anyway, it was really cool though. At the end of all of the actuators, he had screens. And, you know, in a lot of the pictures, it's got VTubers up there like Iron Mouse, but it's really cool. Okay. Oh, also he released a song with Iron Mouse that's 1-800 or 1800. I've only listened to part of it, but even just that one part gets stuck in my head really easily. So I think it's probably a pretty good banger. That's really the secret to a lot of pop music, is just getting it stuck in people's heads, so they'll try to listen, so they'll listen to it to try to get it out of their head. Okay. Pyramid time. I'm trying to whip through this because it's late. First up on the pyramid is Baby No Money. I forgot to talk about my other thing. I'll do it at the end. First up on the pyramid is Baby No Money. It's literally because of his Dr. Octopus cosplay. That's my favorite character. Period. Hard stop. So, yeah, that's why he's on the pyramid. I feel like I shouldn't really need to explain that. While Baby No Money did not get the movie accurate sunglasses, I own movie accurate sunglasses. They're Ray-Bans. They were expensive. I also own, let's see. I own so much Dr. Octopus stuff. It's like a little concerning. It's not as concerning as it could be, but it's definitely concerning. Especially since a lot of my clothing aesthetic for a long time was very academic. So it really just looked like I wanted to go to Columbia University for like a hot minute. You know what I mean? Okay, next up on the pyramid is my favorite character from Final Fantasy 15, Ignis Scientia. That's just a nerd that knows how to cook. Thank you, send tweet. Also, he has to like babysit he's technically, Gladio also has a head on his shoulders, but I do not like Gladio. So the next logical choice is Ignis. I don't know, he's my favorite dude. My favorite, it's like if my favorite Straw Hat was not Zoro, my favorite Straw Hat would be Sanji, and Ignis is the Sanji of this group. So checks out. I don't know. Me when I see a very smart character. But Ignis is on the pyramid because he's my favorite one. Next up on the pyramid is Chapel Roan, because I don't know what that music video is, but girl is definitely cooking. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm very excited for whatever it is. Especially since, like, that shot with her wig being attached like in a car door, I'm like, I'm assuming the word that she's using to give in the song that gives any amount of context to what that shot is like maybe like dragging someone's name through the dirt or something like that. Or just like holding on when you really shouldn't or something. Like, I'm excited no matter what because I want to know what that is. Chaperone's on the pyramid. Also, it's been a while since she's been on the pyramid, so good for her. She's back. Next up on the pyramid is James Gunn, because that man is silly, y'all. That man is silly. Also, he made apparently a banger, which is good because with the current state of this country, we definitely needed Superman. Oh my God. Also, just being bold enough to make a movie about Superman during a time in which there's so much about America, you know, having their hands in wars that they should not have. And also the fact that Superman is technically an immigrant from an alien planet. And with that, actually, conservatives have been review bombing Superman because he's quote unquote too woke, or quote unquote because he's an immigrant. And it's like, he's been an immigrant literally since the first panel he ever appeared on, because the first panel of Superman ever was that. It was about him being sent to Earth, as in not from Earth, literally an alien by the extraterrestrial definition. So shout out to James Gunn for being like, I'm gonna make it anyway because fuck y'all. I know what people actually want. I know what the world actually wants. It's just you guys that don't want it. That's a small portion of this world, baby. Anyway. Next up on the pyramid is Nicholas Hoult. We all know why. I won't shut up about him when he's relevant. So also, there was this very cute interaction between him and David Cornsweet where they wore the same outfit on like different days, but in the same like area. And they made a joke about stealing each other's style. It was very cute. Also, Nicholas Hoult just seems like a wild dude to be around because like with David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnan and like a big portion of that cast, none of them feel like a theater kid. You know what I mean? Most of them from the outside looking in look like just like a TV and film kind of person. Nicholas Hoult does feel like a theater kid, genuinely, because anything you see behind the scenes is he's just doing the most random shit. He's just being silly and goofy. And from the public POV, it doesn't really feel like film and television actors do that as much as traditional theater people do, which is accurate. But also just seeing it from someone who is in so much TV and film is just so funny. I don't know. Also, he got really big when he was still quite young, and I do think that is a part of it. But like, I don't know. It's just really funny to see. Also, beautiful man. I don't know how I feel about the blonde, but meh. It's probably nicer than having dark hair when it's really hot out, so, you know. I don't know, I've never had light hair in my life. Okay. Number one on the pyramid is Rachel Brosnan. Because, first of all, we love a leading lady. But also, the amount of chemistry that she and David Cornsweet have is through the fucking roof. It's so good. But I surprisingly have not seen as much objectification of her and I know it's out there, but it seems less prevalent in any of the like official media I've seen. Usually the comment section is like a mess, but it surprisingly seems weirdly fine, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I know it's not. It's how to describe that? It's like, hey, I know this is happening. Where the fuck are you hiding it? Because I know it's not going to go away. But I really do enjoy the casting of her as Lois Lane, because a big part of having Lois is like, there's so many other women in superhero movies, like even just like MJ in Spider-Man, like, though Zendaya's MJ is a very different MJ who is more in charge of herself and stuff like that. But a lot of times we don't get super strong female lead energy. Not even just from like the actress, but like a lot of times the script isn't really built to facilitate a strong independent woman. That's literally all Lois Lane is. She really said, Clark, I do not need your ass, but I want. I don't need. I'm telling you, I don't need. However, so I also really enjoy just the fact that also in this day and age, one of the most popular movies of this year is going to have a very strong independent woman as its leading lady. So I'm really excited about that. I really hope she gets accolades for this as well, because just out of principle for Lois Lane as a character, really. That's our pyramid. I blew through that. Damn, I did. Like I said, a bit wonk this week because it's Tech Week. We open on Friday. It's what, Wednesday? Yeah, well, technically it's Thursday now, but whatever. Semantics. Yeah, it's technically Wednesday evening. Tomorrow's final dress, and then Friday is open. So, bit wonk this week. Woohoo! The other thing I was going to say that I forgot to say before hitting the pyramid, y'all, it's July. As far as I'm concerned, it's Halloween. I don't care. It's the perfect time for the whole Summerween thing. But also, if you've ever seen that like 2010s level graphic, or like 2015 really graphic of the life cycle of a pumpkin sorted out through every month of the year, July's when the pumpkin's growing. The pumpkin's growing now, and it'll be ready by October. You know what I mean? So it's, as far as I care, it's time. Also, if people who like Christmas can be annoying about it, I can be annoying about Halloween. Get off my lawn. I do not care. But yeah, just a statement. I hope you guys have a good one. A good rest of your week, and a good week next week, because I usually see you guys towards the end of the week. So have a good week next week. Break a leg in general to everyone, honestly. Yeah. As always, I value your viewership. It's really important to me because you know, seeing that people care enough to stop by is really motivational, especially when I'm really busy like I am this week. I'm still doing this because I know that there are people who watch every week. So I want to keep that up, keep that schedule up, regardless of how busy I am. But either way, I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Have a good rest of your week. And I'll see y'all then. Yeah. Bye, y'all.